you aren't limited, you just lack creativity. Now, what I'm referring to is when you get to a skate park and you feel bored because you've already done everything, or when you get to a spot and you feel discouraged because you don't have obstacles that you believe or you've told yourself that you need to progress, right? You're just lacking creativity because at a very fundamental level, there's always room to progress and improve with the tools and the environment you have, right? Even if it's flat ground. So today I'm gonna use that, use that tool of curiosity and just kind of use what I got, which is a straight line, right? I'm gonna use this line so that I can improve the way I do flips, right? Kick flip, heel flip, fakie, switch, and nollie. So the goal is to, get a better understanding of these tricks and, in a sense, focus on how I can feel a bit more stable and comfortable, so that when I apply this at a street, a street spot, at a skate park, or, when I'm just kind of doing them as I skateboard, they feel that much more better, right? And I improve 1% just in this, just by going through this process of, getting these tricks in a straight line, right? Because that's gonna bring about its own challenges, right? We think we have a trick very good, very comfortably until we challenge it, right? Until you practice or until you try to get it onto an obstacle, until you try to do it into an obstacle in a different variation, or even in a straight line like we're gonna do today. So the first one's gonna be kickflip, right? Maybe I'll start from that side, right? So I can come back and forth. And we're gonna do the kickflip. We're gonna keep a moderate speed, just throw it down and then go for it. And we're not gonna be able to, go to the next flip trick until I land on the line, right? It doesn't need to be like dead center on the bushings, but definitely the line has to be in the trucks, right? So Brian's gonna be the judge of that. Okay. Oh.
That was close to being good.
That was close. Okay.
Your back trick didn't.
Yeah. Damn, I actually probably set myself up for an hour-long challenge. Okay. Here. I feel like if I actually went faster, I would have had a better chance. Okay. So right now, what I'm actually finding so much challenge in just these two tries is getting low and engaging while I'm still in the line, right? Because I get low and then I kind of lean to the right. I mean to the left. I was like a 8.5.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh my goodness, it's hard. That one felt good, but it wasn't on the line.
It's hard.
Wow, this is hard. Wow. You see, you can always progress. Always. This reminds me of like Seva Kurtov, how they said they always had to land on bolts when they were playing game of skate. If not, it didn't count. Imagine playing a game of skate and the trick doesn't count if you don't land in a straight line. Imagine what years of those games of skate would breed. Wow. Amazing.
I think that was pretty solid.
That was solid, but everything else compensated. Like I extended on the way down, and
You try to not get too up, huh?
yeah. Okay. Okay, guys. I think we're just gonna be doing kickflips because this is very hard. So we're gonna improve it and see if I can get, a couple. I can figure this out pretty much. Having trouble. So what I don't want to do is compromise actually engaging and getting a good snap. And so I'm gonna focus on making sure I'm engaged at the moment and getting a good snap, and figure out from there instead of, you know, trying to compensate and do it on the straight line, but lose the integrity of the trick. So I want to make sure I'm keeping the integrity.
Oh,
Okay,
that
now-
was solid.
Huh?
That one
solid?
looked pretty solid.
Should I move on?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll do the straight A. We'll do it as much as we can do. The max is gonna be like 20 minutes. So anyways, heel flip. Oh, that one was easier. This one I did kind of think to myself like, okay, as I get back, make sure I'm hinging the hips and just going straight down into the board. So for whatever reason, that was easier. Wow. I think I might have been a little too opened up with the kickflip. Let me try the kickflip again, being kind of more closed off.
You didn't land on the line, but it looked more.
Yeah, because I was closed off. Okay. Anyways, nollie flip.
Okay.
I'm gonna be a bit more closed off as well on this one. So integrity got lost completely. So let's see this next one. Same thing if I would have landed down. Something that you don't want to set yourself for failure in is having trucks that are going to the right or left. I think these are fairly solid. Let's see. They're all right. Okay. Anyways, so I'm already gonna have to compensate to get it to go straight. But generally, you don't want to do that. You want to make sure you have a good setup.
That was good. I'm just kidding.
Okay, again. Not good. Okay, again. Make sure I hold the integrity of the trick and not compensate for the means of landing it in the straight line, because let's say you land them on the straight line every try, but you can't really engage yourself snap, then this trick isn't going to translate so well when you do it into other variations or other obstacles. So maintain the hold the integrity within your attempts. Huh?
Oh.
That was the best attempt yet, but it's still very difficult. I'm going this way. Wow, I think I need to get a bit lower. Just think about going straight down. Wow. That was a little better, honestly.
You literally popped off the line.
I know, but I felt a little better.
Yeah, it was good.
That is so interesting. Wow, this is difficult. Okay, so I need to think about how both feet are allowing myself to get centered. So I'm gonna think about making sure I'm centered as I'm low, and then pop. Because if I'm not popping from a stable, from feeling stable, then the whole trick is just going to break and lose its integrity.
You popped off the line,
Yeah.
but that was pretty good though, either way.
Wow. Okay, so a lot of times we might think, oh, this is dumb, this is pointless, this and that, but don't allow your ego to win and rob yourself from the opportunity to improve at the most, at a very fundamental level, right? This is helping you improve in ways that you can't even comprehend, or in ways that I can't really comprehend, because there's so many situations where you're gonna find yourself needing to actually pull from the ability to stabilize. This may be when you're fatiguing, but because you're actually practicing the stability and straining yourself in this way, when you find yourself in a fatigue state, you're still going to be able to likely do these tricks because you've already practiced them, in a very practiced how to get them that much more stable on just over a line, right? So we're gonna keep going with this nollie flip. Oh my god. This is hard. Okay, hard. Wow. Okay, so again, I'm gonna try to align my shoulders to the line.
That look good though.
But I didn't feel like engaged, so I was compromising that engagement. That was better?
Wasn't on the line though.
Huh?
You didn't land back
No,
on.
I know, but it was.
Wait.
Okay, so something this is telling me is there's always room for improvement, and this is showing me that. Another thing is I would have, there's a lot of times where I'm trying to nollie flip down some stairs with speed, and I feel very unstable with it. And so my quick thought is, I need to skate more stairs, right? Because I'm struggling skating or doing a nollie flip downstairs. But sometimes it's not about improving the trick on the obstacle you're trying it on. It's improving the trick at a very, basic level. So I'm pretty sure if I actually dial this in, landing the nollie flip on a straight line, I'm gonna get nollie flips off a set of stairs so much more easier, right? Because I'm improving it at a very foundational level, with a very foundational approach. So I'm just super hyped, and that's something I'm thinking about. So if you're someone who finds yourself wanting to learn tricks down bigger sets of stairs or on other obstacles, you might want to just tone it down, take a step back, reset yourself, and just practice it on flat and get it so much more better on flat ground. Doesn't mean you can't go for it on the bigger set or on a different obstacle, but it just means, there is room to improve at the level you've already done it at so many times, even then, right? Wow, struggling. How many minutes do we got?
13.
Okay, we're gonna see by minute 20 how many can I do. I've already done heel flip, kick flip. Let's see if I can even get to nollie heel. Oh, that was closer.
Yeah.
I landed one truck on the line. That one, I felt engaged even as I was flicking. So that was something good.
You're what?
Even as I flicked. Because I'm engaged when I pop, but then as I flick, I stiffen out. So this one I felt engaged, and then as I was coming down, I stiffened out. Okay, right here.
Oh.
Wow, I'm fatiguing at this point.
Probably you're thinking a lot, huh?
Yeah, I'm very.
Would you say conscious?
No, not conscious. I'm just being very analytical, trying to figure out every step of the way. But sometimes I just need to allow myself to allow the answers to come to me instead of just asking questions every try. So I'm just gonna go for it again.
Would you say you hesitated a lot now?
Well, it's because I was trying to get on the line. So yeah, I threw myself off. I also don't know if the fact that I'm going downhill is kind of messing me up, but even more of a challenge. So that's awesome. I didn't start on the line, but I feel like that one was the closest or the best one yet.
Yeah.
Something that I just thought of as I said, or as I was kind of pointing out the slanted flat ground, is we want to blame the obstacle, but don't look for excuses. Look for opportunity to just improve that much more. So think about how if you were to actually do your tricks in a difficult situation, you know, slash obstacle, think about how much easier it's going to be when things are perfect, right? Perfect because they're never really perfect. It's just, you know, it just kind of is better for you at the moment.
Would you say that goes back to you're not limited, you just like creativity?
Yeah, you're not limited, you just like creativity. So if you think you can't skate in other circumstances than perfect ones, then you're limiting yourself, right? You're not having an abundant approach to skateboarding. Yeah. As soon as I was popping, I was going to the left. You know what's interesting too? I'm just thinking about how my ankles feel very tight right now. Like I'm trying to get lower, but I can't. And so that makes me think this can be really telling of, you know, your limitations on your structure. And so sometimes you might not even realize your ankles are stiff or your hips are stiff. And this challenge is gonna help you realize that. And so therefore, it's not so much of, damn it, I need to figure out how to land it. It's, oh wow, this what?
Damn it, was so passionate.
Damn it, I don't know why I can't land this. It's more of, oh, interesting. I probably can't land this because my ankles are tight or my hips are very tight, right? Look at it as an opportunity to learn more about yourself and build that intuition instead of just getting frustrated because you can't land the trick. It's not about the trick. It's about the process and what the process has you learning about yourself and about skateboarding and how to approach it, right? As you go about your skateboarding journey. Okay.
Oh.
I can't, damn. Not yet.
I know.
Whenever my students, I'm not saying that because I feel that way. It's because whenever I'm coaching students and I tell them, oh, let's try this, or how about this? They're like, no, I can't do that. Or like, they'll be, I can't, like, you know? And I'm like, okay, instead of saying you can't, just say not yet. And then they're like, yeah, not yet. Like when they're like, you know, like JJ or something. But it's just about feeding a positive mindset instead of, you know, a negative one. Because can't is completely shutting off the opportunity to learn. Not yet is giving yourself time. You know, it's being patient. So I need to be patient. I may not get it today within these 20 minutes, but maybe in the next video. Let me know in the comments if you want me to actually go through with this challenge. Dude, I think if I actually started on the line, I would have done it. Because I landed in the same spot I started on.
Oh!
You know what I did there?
Went faster.
No, faster, but I also like make sure my core was holding its integrity throughout the whole time.
Isn't that what you said about the last one?
Yeah, but I didn't realize my core wasn't applying that.
Yeah.
You know, so I was just thinking about my hips and my ankles. Right now, I really thought about my core. Let me see. One more. One more with the core. Yeah.
Damn.
Damn. Yeah, I swear. I was like, wow.
You unlocked it.
I mean, I'm going to do Nollie Hill now.
19. You have 20 seconds left to do Nollie Hill.
20 seconds and then we're done? Okay. Well, I'm going to hold my core.
15 seconds.
Oh, almost. One more. fun, but heel flips were easier than kick flips. Wow, interesting. Okay, a lot. I wouldn't say I really learned much about this, but it did remind me and refine my kickflip or my approach to doing kickflips or flips a bit more, such as, you know, making sure my core is engaged. It's not just about engaging the core or engaging one part of the body, but making sure everything is holding its own part of integrity, so it engages together, right? It works as a unit, as a system, and therefore you're able to transfer that approach, that process, that system to different tricks you might want to learn in the future. But again, it's not that you're limited in opportunity, it's just you're limiting yourself with your lack of creativity. So open up that creativity by making sure you're using tools such as lines, you know, imaginary gaps. You know, a lot of times when I was practicing manuals and I couldn't ollie onto a manual pad, I would just manual from one line to the next, or challenge myself to do so. So I didn't have a manual pad, or I didn't have anything to ollie over, but I would still use what I had so that I can for a means of progression. So you aren't limited, you are just lacking creativity. Having said that, if you're interested in coaching or lessons, hit me up at profe.carlos and we'll talk about what that looks like for yourself. Other than that, leave some comments, ask for questions, elaborations of elaboration, and we'll make another one like this. Let me know if you want me to get to the other 4 flips. Peace out.